What's going on? You're in the Beat Sessions, your place for all things music. I'm your host, Mitchell Weary. Let's talk about Daniel Kleederman and his record, Another Life. He released that on April 4th. This is Daniel's debut solo record, venturing out on his own after working with Bartees Strange since the start of the decade. Daniel also released his first extended play entitled The Grand Kid back in October of 2024. And Bartees Strange has been one of my favorite artists to emerge in the 2020s. And I would argue that Daniel has been a major factor in helping him cultivate his signature sound, which completely defies classification. Bartees Strange is an artist that is genuinely one of a kind. But I think there's this basic instinct that builds in any creative mind that tells you it's time to branch out. It's time to do my own thing. And it's pretty clear that Daniel has set out to do something very different with this project. I'm excited for him. This is a moment that is equally thrilling and terrifying. And it's terrifying because there's always risks that go along with stepping away from something that's established, stepping away from a good gig. And it's not about sitting in a comfort zone so much as acknowledging that you play a significant role in something that is special, something that people genuinely love and admire. But at the end of the day, I feel there's this burning desire in every artist to do their own thing, the liberty that goes along with the control of the creative process, and ultimately developing something that is more a reflection of who you are as an artist and oftentimes as a person. Another Life is co-produced with longtime musical partner Chris Connors, who also works with Bartees and features excellent drumming from Alex Goldberg. And when you listen to this record, there are certainly similarities to the work of Bartees, but go back and listen to the album Horror, and its tracks like Sober, Baltimore, and Wants and Needs that feature Daniel on guitar that I think really hint at the direction that he is looking to take with his sound. And there are major differences here as well, too. Bartees is an artist that incorporates hip hop, electronic, and punk rock into his sound. And these are stylings that you're not going to find on Another Life. I would say this record, amongst all the many influences, is more prog than anything. And I say that because one of my favorite things that Daniel does on this project is just throwing conventional song structure out the door. There's so much frenetic movement in these compositions and fun time signatures that are captivating and so engaging. But all these other influences that drive this record include folk, country, there's bits of jazz and soul, elements of shoegaze as well. And I feel like they're all built within this gentle framework of psychedelic music. I love that the album carries a gentle disposition overall, but there are so many excellent moments where he's not afraid to make the music go heavy. And I love the balance that he creates there with that. When I listen to this record, there's so many artists that I hear influencing his style. I would say Sufjan Stevens, Jeff Buckley, The National, My Morning Jacket, Elliott Smith. And I mentioned that bit of soul that I hear on this thing a lot. Lots of a little bit of R&B as well, too. An up-and-coming artist like Valerie June. I mean, she's been around for a bit, but I really feel like she's starting to make her mark, and she's just one of my favorites that I've discovered in the last couple of years. Another Life has great continuity as well, and what I love about it is that it feels like two different experiences. The front half has tighter, shorter compositions that I feel all come together and gel so well, while the back half features longer tracks that stand up great on their own, but also come together nicely too. Great vocals on this thing. The harmonies from Kate Victor and Kyle Morgan are fantastic, especially on the opener and Knock at the Door, and they're featured much more in the second half of the record. And Daniel's vocals just shine. Like, he is absolutely incredible. The production on this thing is outstanding too. I really enjoy all the guitars, the way that all of those come together but stand out on their own as well, just building so much texture. And from a production standpoint too, there's so many gentle moments on this thing where I feel the production is clean and it's appropriate, and then it gets a little more raw when the tracks go heavier. And I think there's great balance there too. I think the music of Bartees Strange is different too, in that he has a lot of social commentary featured in his work. It's introspective, but I think he looks more at the world more than Another Life does. This is an album I would argue Daniel has chosen for a much more introspective approach, exploring the complexities of love and loss and just the everyday euphoria that comes with these moments of realization, of self-discovery that makes life so exciting and so special. It can really be the little things that get you into those times of self-discovery. This thing leads off with a knock at the door. You get this gentle white noise balanced with a quiet harp-like strum that shifts to the sound of a bell. And that's the little tight opening there. Then you get Daniel's vulnerable vocals that enter, and they're complemented by this drawn-out staccato riff that's built on this great ethereal reverb. There's an intense swell that leads to a crescendo, and then the track immediately cuts out. Then the vocal and guitar hit to usher in a light R&B inspired track with this back and forth between the minimal guitar and vocal parts. And I love the just sultry blanket of rolling bass on this track. The percussion is phenomenal as well, especially the hi-hat action. It's my favorite part of the percussion. The chorus is going to take off with big vocal melodies and harmonies, and you get a bit of slide and acoustic rhythm as well. All the guitars up to this point are absolutely gorgeous. And then this thing is going to go a bit heavy before settling back into this soulful stop and go. And then it's going to finish with this big gossamer coda before returning to the bells that open up the track. Your second song is entitled, I Know This Is Not the Place to Go In. And it's a short track, but I love what it does. You get this light, breezy, arpeggiated riff and tambourine to open with other guitars that are building in this kaleidoscope of twinkly textures. You get these jazz-style drums that create a bit of chaos. They're absolutely phenomenal. And this is going to happen as the song swells, and then it cuts off for a bit of steely Americana. It's a riveting moment, as brief as it is, and I really enjoyed the way that it leads right into your third track, Compromised Positions. You get this steely arpeggiated electric guitar and synths to open, and more layers of each as this song continues to build. There's this abrupt minimal shift, and you get this acoustic element and vocal in the verse, and it's feathery and vulnerable. I really like the way this sounds. It reminds me a bit of Elliott Smith here. And then you get a bit of slide that's going to work in to build this track along with some soft bass, and then it hits. And there's this time signature with these fluttering electric guitars that are so captivating, and a great bass riff to match in a moment that I think just brilliantly captures contemporary Americana. This track, it's going to pause for a moment, and then it does get a bit heavier for a bit, and then shifts more to a jazz influence. There's just so much going on here. This track is pretty psychedelic as well, and another one where, I mean, I would say his voice on this thing is particularly enjoyable. It's a track that reminds me a bit of My Morning Jacket too. You get a great solo with a heavy backdrop to finish, and a gentle outro that it shifts into to lead into your fourth track, She'll Be Part 1. You're going to get layers of electric and acoustic guitar to open, and then those shift abruptly to this minimal acoustic and vocal section. Get a bit of bass and electric guitar that usher in a smooth combination of jazz and country. It's one of my favorite sounds these days that artists are playing with. And these guitars that trickle in and out as well. I love the textures. The jazz element's going to really take hold in the chorus with just this rich tapestry of sounds. And you get this, and then it's going to revert to the verse structure briefly before finishing with this hypnotic jazz portion. And then it segues right into your fifth song, She'll Be Part 2. Get vocal and a simple acoustic riff that are immediate to open. You got this soft swell of an organ to usher in the rhythm before cutting out, and then returning with a heavy feel that's grounded in the delicacy of this album style. Psychedelic guitar play is going to enter, and it's going to come in with some synth-like effects as well. Drums get big and chaotic. I love what's going on here with those, building to this crescendo and finishing with delicate acoustic guitars and chirping birds that are going to lead right into your sixth song, I'll Be. And this song opens with a simple electric riff, and you get this gentle touch of bass and drums that follow, giving the song this real lovely, minimal atmospheric quality. The vocals enter briefly in a slow burn of a build that eventually is going to play with some heavy guitar. This is just another one of those great moments that I was talking about when he's just not afraid to do that. And the heaviness is brief, settling back into that gentle soundscape. And it's pretty much an instrumental song. And there's actually quite a bit of instrumental play and tracks that feature a very minimal vocal element. Your seventh song is entitled Don't Mind Waiting to Die. Another brief one, you get this vocal count off that opens up this minimal folk style track with a female vocal before cutting right into your eighth song, They'll Be. And it's going to open with vocals and some lo-fi arpeggiated guitar. Really unique production out of the gate on this track that it almost sounds vaudevillian. It's really unique. And then it explodes with an enormous vocal element. You get big fuzzy guitar and crashing staccato rhythm on this song. The moment is brief before reverting to the style of the intro for the first verse. And I love the funk on this track, switching things up a little bit. I feel like this is the first time you get that element, and it just comes at a perfect time on this record. The chorus adopts a rock and roll groove and a fantastic horn element as well that I enjoyed. It's going to shift to a funky bridge that features some great solo work and some more of that steely slide that feels ubiquitous on this record. Then it shifts to this lo-fi style of the intro briefly before finding its feet in a soulful manner. Guitars build in to bring back that big, heavy feel with guitars that just swim all over the place. And then it's going to finish with this mellow, funky element. Another just great shift in contrast. Your ninth song is entitled Another Life. Your title track is going to open with vocal and guitar, creating this ominous mood with a soft, jangly element in the backdrop. Got this soft electric guitar and foreboding synths that work in before thicker, droning textures build in on this thing. It's dark, but it has this balanced, ethereal quality to it. Then it shifts to a brighter Baroque-inspired moment that ushers in these fuzzy guitars and just a calamitous rock and roll segment, I would say. There's a shift to a minimal funky groove before returning that heavy element to finish on this song, leading into your penultimate and 10th track, Mornings. You get a quick hit of drums before fast acoustic, arpeggio, and vocal take this thing over. And then I love the military-style drums that build in. There's a lot of stop and go with that element, and it gives this song this serene psychedelic feel. The track is enhanced by light soaring vocals and twinkly electric guitar. You get some bass drum that provides a bit of pace at moments as the song continues to build, and it leads towards this big jazzy psychedelic finish. And I love the way it just goes big, transitioning right into your final track, your 11th song, Answers. You get more of that rapid fire arpeggiated acoustic guitar to open. Got the track that makes an abrupt shift into another moody alternative country style track with shimmering slide elements and thick rolling bass. There's a prominent electric riff incorporated, and it brings a big rock and roll feel for just a big jam out to finish this fantastic record. I will say I feel like just a bit of constructive criticism that there is a lot of use of the crescendo in this record to a degree that it almost feels overused a little bit. But ultimately, this is a fantastic exploration of sound. I absolutely love what Daniel is doing with this project. It is a great way to lay a foundation for what it looks like to be a very promising solo career. And I'm truly excited to see what he brings into the future with other efforts. But in the meantime, I'm thrilled that we have this effort. I applaud him for making this move. I think it's going to work out great for him. And I'm going to give this thing an 8.2 out of 10. It's not on wax yet. I do want to say that he's released this on cassette. He's also put his EP out on a cassette, and I love that. Despite the nature for those to wear down, I'm a person that just likes to drop a needle on a record. I like to hit play on a project and let it play out. And I've always felt the cassette tape is a really cool medium for that reason. So you can get on his Bandcamp and pick that up. I'll throw a link up on the album review, so you can go check that out, and you can check this album out as well and stream it. And hopefully one of these days, very soon, he presses this thing on vinyl. Because as I said, I think the first half would feature the first 7 tracks, and then you'd get the rest of the album on the B-side. Really just, I guess, like just closing in, honing in on those 2 experiences and making them unique in their own right. It's just a very exciting thing to see him do. So I hope you enjoyed this record. I hope you find this review helpful as well. Please like this video, share it, subscribe to the channel, do all the things to help me blow this project up in 2025, and stay tuned throughout the week for more album reviews. We will see you next time on the Beat Sessions.